Good morning, YouTube. Coming to you from the Turkmahall. Got a little problem with the brooder feeder. One, they knocked the roof off yesterday, and two, it's just making a mess out of it. I don't know if the hole down here in the brooder bucket is too small for their heads now, or they're just being messy eaters, but I've decided to give them a different feeder. What I did was I took the 4.5 foot long PVC feeder from the brooder and I cut it down to 2.5 feet so it's more appropriate for the size of the Turkmahall. And I'm not going to hang it because it's going to have that same problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount it back here on the back wall and dump that food in it, and hopefully that makes it so they're less messy. Plus it gives them more opportunity because the hole in the bucket's not big enough for everybody's head to get in at the same time, and they seem to want to eat at the same time. That's about the right height. I do have it 3 links from the end, so it could be lowered if for some reason they decide that they're shorter than I think they are. So yesterday I told you that I did a U-turn with a Turkmahall. Gotta watch where I'm walking here. I wanted to show you why though. Right there where that little tuft of grass is, right there, is the edge of the last place where the Turkmahall was. Let's see if I can do this. But no, I can't. There, over there. That's where Turkmahall was. And if you look right here, there's just mostly dirt and pine needles and sawdust right there. It's not a lot for them to munch on. It's not very much of a grass-fed chicken if there's no grass for you to eat. When I moved the turkeys today, their new spot doesn't look all that grassy either. So what I'm going to have to do tomorrow is take the electric net and move it down so that I can do a U-turn with the turkeys and get them on the glorious, glorious grass down there and get them away from the sawmill. There used to be a tree right here, so this is where its drip line was, and that's why there's no grass. All right, let's get up and we'll clean out the brooder. All right, we're in the shop. The empty brooder has been sitting here for days for those that have been watching and know when I moved out the chickens. And even though the smell gets less when there aren't chickens in here flapping their wings and spreading the love everywhere, it still stinks. Plus, you know that I want to get the disc harrow out, which is right there, right there. And this thing's in the way. So, at first, I thought by designing it 5 feet wide that I might just come in with a bucket and scoop it up. But later, I've gotten a little apprehensive about the idea because I have plastic underneath this and old linoleum underneath this to make sure that none of the essence of chick gets into the concrete. So I don't know that I can scrape it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this wall right here off just by lifting it and start shoveling it into the tractor, which is just off shot. So I'm going to flip over a bit here. See that moisture? No, you can't. I'm going to flip over a bit here. See that moisture right there? That's why you line the bottom of your brooder. Because it kind of just accumulates down there in the wood chips. And that will stink the crud up out of your basement, linoleum, concrete, whatever is underneath. Do not let it get underneath. Oh, you just wish YouTube was snow vision right now. This is glorious. The ammonia smell is also why you keep fresh bark or fresh wood chips on your brooder, because what it does is it soaks up this stench. It's sliding quite nicely off the plastic, but the plastic's showing sign of moisture underneath. I don't know if it's because it was wet from winter or if some of the stink got through. We'll know in a few minutes. We've already established that I know how to shovel, so I'll pause the video here, finish it, and then we'll talk about it. Ta-da! Empty. You can see the water line, or the moisture line along the board there. Even though the wood chips are thicker than that, that's where the moisture hides. When your brooder starts to stink, you throw down some new white wood shavings or pine shavings, and it doesn't stink anymore. But that covering doesn't seem to let the moisture out. So just for your own preparedness, when you shovel out your brooder, make sure you ventilate, because the ammonia smell. Oh, look at that. So open the window, got some good flow through the shop. The other thing I noticed, let's see if I can turn you guys to see it, is I pulled back the plastic, and the plastic did not do its job. That's wet concrete right there. I'm going to cover that with some wood ash and charcoal, but the linoleum is dry underneath there. So next year I will have a piece of 6x9 linoleum remnant to go underneath this bad boy. For now, though, I'm going to take it outside in the sun. I'm going to set it back up and let the sun sanitize it for me. All right. I have the chick brooder outside in the sun, all set up. I have the turkey brooder outside in the sun, all cleaned out. Shovel, shovel, shovel. We'll do a video on that just to show you what's going on with the wood underneath it, because it doesn't have any plastic in it. I've put charcoal down on the ground over where it was wet. Now for my final feat of the day. I'm going to get that disc harrow out of there. I have enough bar chain oil? Maybe. £300 of 24% protein chick starter. This thing weighs a lot, but fortunately the discs are wheels. I'm just hoping that I don't knock that bush hog over. So I'm paying attention. Over here I've got my snow blower. If I can just get past the front of the snow blower, I should be able to rotate this tire. Does that sound grating enough for you? It is for me. So, I know you're thinking, yesterday's video is like 25 minutes long, dude. But, yep, this is the end of the video. The failed attempt to shake down my new trailer earlier in the week is happening today. The reason I can do it today and I couldn't do it earlier in the week is because the campsite that we were going to go to has electricity now, and it didn't a couple of days ago. So we're going to go, and tomorrow the caption of the video is, "How starving are the Franken chickens?" Well, we don't show up till like noon, but I will feed them in their troughs and give them a little extra on the ground and hope they just don't eat it all night. Either way, they have grass to eat and they'll be fine. You can't leave them for any longer than that. But anyway, think homesteading thoughts, and I will see you tomorrow.